Okay. Hi,
All right.
everyone. Teresa Lisum here with my friend and fellow coach, Linda.
Linda Karchner.
We're so glad you're here. We jump on every week and share our love of strengths.
That is
As
true.
somebody I just met and loves to nerd out on strengths. So that's what we're going to call ourselves, the strength
Right.
nerds.
There we go.
And we are going to share why we love this whole strengths concept.
Mhm.
We've been talking about domains. We're going to finish up with the fourth domain this week and share a little bit about strategic thinking and talk a little bit about what this whole domain thing is and why it's
Yeah,
important to us.
right.
Go ahead, Linda, take over. I'm going to go grab that.
Okay, sounds good. So, first of all, what is Clifton Strengths? It is an online assessment that helps you to figure out what order the 34 strengths that Gallup has determined are universal strengths. We all have these 34 strengths, but we have them in our own unique order. No one basically in the world ever has or ever will have your exact lineup. And that's a math thing, and Teresa and I aren't going to do the math for you because that is definitely not our strength.
Right. But we do have a recording that we did.
Yeah,
It talks about why
yeah.
you're the only person in the world with your lineup of strengths.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Like
for sure.
it's just impossible for anybody to have the exact same lineup. They might overlap a little bit in some way,
Right.
but go ahead. I didn't mean to
And
interrupt you.
no, that's okay. That was good to point that out. So then each of the 34 strengths is categorized under one of four domains.
Mhm.
And the names of the domains are what Gallup or Clifton Strengths call them: relationship building, influencing, executing, and strategic thinking. And my husband and I were talking about strengths as we often do. Um, and I pointed out to him that the reason Clifton Strengths is so unique and so powerful is that most personality assessments or tools that you can take kind of stop at the domains in whatever they call their
Mm,
domains. Usually it is about four different categories or subcategories that they have, and they just kind of stop there. They put you in that group with other people, but they don't focus on you as an individual
mm,
and how incredibly unique you are. Yes, you can. There are lots of people in this world who, like Teresa and I, are relationship builders and strategic thinkers, kind of both.
mhm.
But even though I think it just doesn't give you the complete picture, because Teresa and I are very similar, but we're very different too at the same time. And so by looking at our individual strengths, it gives you that complete picture of who you are.
Mm.
And so, but it is good to know the domains
That was
because
great. A great explanation,
it
Linda. You're
makes
right.
you get
And
that bigger picture.
yeah, I didn't think about it till you just talked about it. Those other ones, and I don't know a lot about those other assessments out there, but you're right. I believe I get the impression they're very generalized
Right,
and they
right.
can label you as a certain personality type, blah, 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 which is great. That information is all great to
Yeah,
know about. Anytime we can learn more about ourselves, it's helpful. But
right.
this one can really get down into, like you said, specifics to you
Mhm,
uniquely
mhm,
and the way they interact. So, yes, we're going to talk about strategic thinking strengths today,
mhm.
but as individual strengths, but the way they interact with maybe an influencing strength, or if they interact with a
Right.
relationship building strength, or if they interact with another strategic thinking strength. That's going to make you you because of that interaction and that interplay between your strengths. So, yeah,
Right.
that's a great way of thinking of it, Linda. Thank you for that.
Hmm.
Just real quick, we wanted to show you the over all four of them, and we want to attribute this to Eddie Villa. This is
Hmm.
he put this together. We want to make sure to give him credit. But a relationship builder is a person who loves to connect with other people. They are
Hmm.
energized and they're their best selves when they're interacting with other people, whether it be a group, one or two,
Oh, yeah.
another person in a collaborative effort. I know that's true for me.
Hmm. Same.
It's all about connection. An
Hmm.
influencer is a person who loves to, probably with a group of people, move that whole group forward
Yeah.
from this point to this point and can see all the steps in between. Now, they can do that with an individual as well, but this moving of people forward, forward progress is really energizing for them.
Hmm.
And then I'll let you talk about the executing and the strategic. Linda, if you would.
Okay. Yeah. So, as someone who's high in the executing domain, that means that they like to make sure things are done the right way. They don't necessarily have to do those things themselves or be productive in that way themselves. And if they see that things are being done the right way, then they can be a little more hands off. But it is important to them that people are productive and efficient in the right way. And then strategic thinkers are people who love to think, create, and or learn. So some strategic thinkers love to create things, whether it's sort of virtual things like graphics or hands-on things. Other strategic thinkers like to just learn and absorb information, and some like to do both. But all strategic thinkers like to think. They like to
Yes.
be
Yeah.
in their head
Yes.
processing
It's
the
a
stuff.
lot of action going on up here.
Right.
So I might be looking at Linda thinking, oh man, she's not really doing anything. I wish she'd get up and do something. But in her head, all this activity is going on. And so she's
Uh-huh.
being very productive in her head. I just
Right.
can't see it. Now, then she'll hopefully take action on that, whatever's
Uh-huh.
happening, which I, for myself, sometimes have trouble with. I love to think as well, but I don't always implement or take action. So I think it's
Hmm.
really important for people with this domain to move forward by taking some action, not just keeping it
Right.
all up here, or at least teaching other people, sharing what's going on in their head with others.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's very
Yeah.
easy to fall into that trap of just
I
learning.
need I need deadlines
Mhm.
and other people
Yeah.
to help me have the energy to actually physically do the things.
Right, right. And as a relationship builder, you just like me, I'm assuming you love doing it with people, as you said.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's
Yeah.
why we love this collaboration.
Yeah.
We're nerding out every week
Right.
because we just love the interaction, the back and forth. Two heads are better than one, in my opinion.
Okay.
And it's just that's where I feel really authentic and creative and energized. I can do it by
Yeah.
myself, but it's going to
Right.
take me longer and I won't be as creative as I am with another person involved.
Hmm.
So I think that's really good to know about ourselves so we can leverage that information.
Right.
Um,
Absolutely.
and a lot of us have one dominant domain, and then
Hmm.
we have a secondary one.
Hmm.
So, like my dominant one is relationship building. And then my secondary domain, which is just a little bit less prominent, but it's still there and it still affects me, is my strategic thinking. So, I
Hmm.
need a balance of both. I need a balance of people, I need a balance
Hmm.
of private thinking time. So, I know it's
Hmm.
really
Hmm.
important for me to get both. And if I get too much or not enough of one, I can just feel my energy decreasing and it's not in a very
Right.
good place. How about you, Linda?
Yeah, it's the same. And we, like, I am first a relationship builder, and I think I'd noticed this a long time ago, but recently I reobserved it that my 11th, 12th, and 13th strengths are relationship building strengths.
Mm,
So, even if I thought that, those four relationship building strengths in my top 10, like, I don't know, maybe I'm not that much of a relationship builder. I'd say, yeah, that is like just confirms that
hmm
connecting with people is so important to me. And a lot of my strategic thinking is geared toward helping other
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
teaching them and making their lives better and connecting
hmm
with them.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
And I really think if, like I said, this information is powerful for ourselves. And I'm
Hmm.
sorry you're seeing the rest of my Canva thing here, but um, if people don't understand this or don't have an awareness around it, it could be
Yeah.
really, really stressful. Like,
Right.
why am I feeling low? Why am I,
Hmm.
not at a high level of energy? Well, if you don't realize that you're a relationship builder and you're not interacting with people, that's going to deplete your energy or, really
Right.
drain your energy. Or you might be a person that doesn't want to be around a lot of people. You
Hmm.
have to be, and your energy is always being sucked out of you because you don't realize that this is what's happening.
Yeah.
You need to be with people or you don't need to be with people, but you're
Right.
doing the opposite. So I sometimes think that people that are in a job that they're not liking, they're stressed because
Uh-huh.
it's not aligning with their strengths and with their domain.
Right. Hmm. Yes. It's just thinking about, like, my son's fiance. She loves to be around people and she's a doer. So she's an executor and a relationship builder. And so if she doesn't have a job where she spends time with people, then she just doesn't feel complete. She
Yeah.
feels very frustrated.
Yeah. So just again, knowing about yourself in this way can help you make some decisions that are going to improve your life and your
Hmm.
happiness.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's another reason to really get a hold of your strengths, take the assessment, and discover some things about yourself that maybe you kind of knew, but you couldn't
Hmm.
articulate, or
Hmm.
you maybe when you learn about it, you're like, oh, that now makes sense to me.
Right.
That's
Right.
why I was feeling this way. So it can bring a lot of things together in an alignment and again help you make some new choices possibly that are going to
Hmm.
move you in a more a direction where you're going to feel a whole lot better.
Hmm.
So let's go ahead and look at strategic thinking. We're just going to take a look at some of these individual strengths, and what we
Hmm.
do is we focus on the top 10 and we
Hmm.
categorize them into these domains.
Hmm.
So these are the strategic thinking um, strengths. You might have four of them, you might have two of them, you might have six of them. It just depends on what's important to you when you're taking that assessment and how you're answering the questions. Um,
Hmm.
sorry. So let's take a look at some of these. I'm going to talk about context first, only because I had a conversation with a lady
Yeah.
just within the last week who had context at number one. So
Wow.
where they lie in your report gives it energy. So if you have
Hmm.
something like context at number one, that is really energizing for you. If
Hmm.
you have it down maybe at number seven or eight, it's still going to be important to you, but it's not going to be as much as if it was higher on the list.
Hmm.
Okay. So context, I actually have a daughter with context at number one.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I can't always talk about context from personal experience because I don't have it in my top
I don't either.
15. It's way at the bottom.
Yeah, it's at the bottom for me too.
But when people of high context talk about it, it makes so much sense to me
Mhm.
and to them. It's just such a natural, easy thing for them to talk about and try to explain how they use it. In the moment, I'm like, oh yeah, but then afterward, I can't really share as they shared about it.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. It makes sense to me because I can relate to that.
so
We,
context
we
is
just
all
don't have
about.
that personal experience.
Right, exactly. So if these are your strengths, you can see them showing up in your life, then it's very easy for you to talk about them. But if you're like me and Linda and they're way down at the bottom, we don't have
Hmm.
a personal experience with them, so it's harder for us to really understand and share about them as easily as somebody who has it high and uses it all the time.
Right. Right.
So just really quick context is about pulling from the past and
Hmm.
making decisions in the future. That's the generic way of talking about it. But a
Right.
person with high context is going to be able to really dig in deep and tell us all the layers of how they use context.
I think for someone with context high, they use context or that they value the past as a blueprint, as a
Yes, yes.
foundation
Good way of
for the
saying it.
present.
Yeah.
And they place such high value on that that really their mantra is those who do not learn from the past are doomed to repeat it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But kind of like in a sort of the flip side of that coin, that those who do learn from the past positively affect the future and the present because they know where the foundation came from.
Yeah, yeah. And just I went back and looked at my notes of this person who has it at number one. She calls it her filing cabinet. So she
Wow.
takes information from her filing cabinet,
Uh-huh.
her mental filing cabinet, to pull from it when she needs to look at what's happening now.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was really quite a good way of referring to it.
Hmm. I like
Um,
that.
yeah, yeah. So I wanted to make sure I went back and double checked what her words were.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
that's a good one.
so context, if you have it, you totally understand it.
Yeah.
So which one would you like to talk about there, Linda?
Um, well, since I don't have this one either, and a couple of my sons do, let's talk about analytical.
Okay.
Um, sometimes they drive me crazy. I have connectedness high, which is a relationship building strength. And people with connectedness high, it's like we just kind of accept that everything's connected and there's a flow, and and the analytical people, they want the data.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yep.
want
Yep.
to be like a computer and analyze what led us to this point. um why did things happen? To
Yep.
them, data is, it's not like personal, it's not subjective, it's objective.
Yes.
And so they value the facts, just the
Yep.
facts.
Yep. Yep.
And like,
They,
and how did we get here based
yes.
on the facts and what happened and all of that. So it's analytical is an awesome strength. We love all of the strengths, is even, and maybe even especially the ones we don't have,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
we
I would love
tend
to have a
to,
person that can be analytical with me and do
right?
it for me, but I don't want to do it.
We
Although,
know who we need to look for to fill in our gaps.
right, which was interesting. I just want to say I always prided myself on being intelligent, like going through school, making good grades,
Oh,
blah, blah, blah. So I always saw myself as an intellectual, which I still do, but I was shocked that analytical was
Yeah.
not high up in my report.
Yeah.
Whereas more of the energetic relationshipal strengths are up there. And that just
Right.
really shocked me because
Hmm.
I could be objective, I could be logical. Sometimes
Yeah.
I need proof. Like, I ask
Right.
questions. So analytical just it shows up in a different way for me.
Right.
But
Right.
it was just surprising when I first took that assessment. Like, oh, that's not even close to being up there.
I've been called analytical before
Hmm.
by, maybe a little bit different definition of exactly what the Clifton Strengths definition is.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
when my husband and I bought our timeshare, and we both have intellection high, we both have learner high, and we went to a lot of timeshare spiels
Yeah.
before we made our decision. And we took a lot of time to make this decision. And the person who finally won us over, we didn't even really like her that much, but I guess we were just ready. And she said, I usually one of the spouses is analytical, but the two of you are analytical, analytical. It's like, hey,
Isn't that
lady, we're talking
interesting?
about our money.
And I'm surprised you didn't like her that much because I almost thought you were going to say, oh, we really liked her. We
Oh,
connected with
yeah.
her. And that's why we decided.
You
But you
you would
said the
think that
opposite.
that would be the reason.
That is funny. But you
Yeah,
mentioned intellection and
yeah,
learner. So those could certainly be in place of analytical, like
yeah,
intellection. I have that
absolutely.
high as well.
Yeah,
Think deeply, can see the
right.
different nuances, all the
Hmm.
different like gray area. It's not black and white for intellection, at least for me. There's everything in between, and I'd love to talk
Right.
about all of it.
Yeah.
So, and then learner, like you said, you did the research, you were learning as
Hmm.
much as you could, so that you were
Right.
making smart decisions. That's all learner, loves to learn.
Hmm.
And so those combination, and then you throw input in there where you're
Right.
gathering all the information,
Which both of
all
us
those
have.
three together could certainly be replace that analytical.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what happened.
Yeah. So yeah. And I'm going to look for my strategic definition that somebody I heard just yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Strategic I wish I was more strategic. I mean, I
Hmm.
can be with my strengths, but strategic, and I'll maybe while you're talking, I'll be able to find it. But a person that has the strategic strength,
Hmm.
which is part of the strategic thinking category,
Right.
so even though I don't have strategic high, I'm still a strategic thinker. But
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the strength itself is, from my understanding, they can just see multiple ways of doing
Hmm.
something. Plan A,
Hmm.
plan B, plan C,
Hmm.
plan D, and as many plans as they need, and they know they're gonna get their end result and go get to their goal, and they'll do it in whatever way they need to do it. As many turns and
Yeah.
and pivot points they need, but they will get there and they can start to see it. They might not see it in the moment, but they will start to see it over time.
Well, we had a lot of fun with a family that we did our workshop with, and we do spiritual gifts and strengths together. And it was a husband and wife, the wife's sister, and then the husband and wife, their adult daughter. And the three ladies, none of them had strategic high, but the husband of the one lady, he has strategic and definitely in his top 10, and I can't remember where it was. And he was like, yeah, I can see the different options, the different, if something goes wrong, then I can come up with another plan, no sweat. And the
Mm,
ladies were like, you know what, if something goes wrong, we're going to rely on you to take care of that and come up with other options for us. And
yeah,
that's like a
see?
prime example of how it's, how we work together and how our
Yeah,
strengths
yeah,
can work
yeah.
together.
And I found just a few notes that was helpful for me to help me understand
Uh-huh.
strategic. A strategic person will, like I said, keep on searching for a way. They can actually map out patterns that might lead them to a
Mm-hmm.
solution. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a very hopeful strength. If you have a high strategic friend,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to
Mm-hmm.
give you a lot of hope, like these ladies. They had hope that this gentleman was going to figure it out for them.
Right. They didn't have to worry about it.
Right, right. So I thought that was an interesting way of labeling it, that it was a very hopeful
Yeah.
strength.
Yeah, I like that. I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, so did I.
Yeah, because they believe there's always an option.
Hmm.
There's always going to be a plan B. And if that doesn't work out, there's always C and D and, on down the line.
Which I think would give you a level of confidence and hope,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because this person will figure it out. Everything's figure outable.
Right.
And they're
That's a
confident
good
that
way
they're
to
going to
say it.
find that solution, whereas I might be like, oh, are we, like I'd be
Right.
somewhat like, I
Yeah.
don't know, I have my doubts. But a high strategic person would be like, yeah, we got this, we'll figure this out.
Right. Right. There's something we can do. And you and I would be like, I don't know, I think we need to read a book or
Exactly.
go to a training or
That is so
think
true,
about it for a
so
while.
true. I need to do more research and
Yeah. Then I might possibly come up with another option.
that is so funny. Now, I think restorative, which is not here, it's in the
Hmm.
executing, I believe.
Hmm. Yeah, that's right.
That is could be used in a similar way as well.
I think so too. Yeah. Yeah.
They can
Finding
see.
finding solutions for what's wrong, for what to fix what's broken. And
And
if someone had restorative and strategic both in their top 10, man, they would solve problems whether you wanted them to or
mhm,
not.
and ideation kind of fits in with those as
Yeah,
well.
true, true. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, a person of high ideation can be seen
Uh-huh.
as really creative, really spontaneous,
Right,
really
right.
insightful, really maybe even
Mm-hmm.
intuitive, and a person that's able to generate lots of ideas. That's how I think of an ideation person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My husband and my oldest son are both high in ideation. And they are. My oldest son, like he's like off the charts, weird thinking. He's the seven strategic thinker, and his fiance and I like they put me on speakerphone and we all three talk together, and he'll be explaining something to us and we're like, okay. We are so glad that you understand that,
Uh-huh.
and we love you and we love that you're so excited about it. And I even have a pretty good helping of strategic thinking strengths, or I would be
Mhm.
totally lost with him.
So it
uh,
sounds like he's connecting all of these
oh
maybe
yeah.
abstract,
Yes.
disjointed bits of information, and he's seeing the
Yeah.
pattern and the commonalities and bringing them all together.
Yeah. Yep. He
Whereas you
does
can't
do
see
that.
that because that's not your
No.
forte, that's not your
Uh-uh.
strength.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
But just to know, and I'm going to stop the share, and we can still talk about another one or two of that, but just to
Mhm.
know the people in your influence, in your family, in
Mhm.
your friend
Mhm.
circle, have a
Right.
certain type of strength. Like I said, you can depend on them or you can reach out to them.
Mhm.
I'm having some trouble, analyzing this, blah, blah, blah. Can you help me? Because they have analytical.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you're, yeah. So that's why I also, another reason to love strength and to know what other
Mhm.
people's are so that you
Mhm.
can tap into them and
Mhm.
leverage them.
Yeah, if I
Surround
get
yourself
if
with
I
good
get
people.
definitely, if I get stuck trying to think of an idea because I'm too much in my own head and it's kind of
Hmm.
going around and around. And I'll ask my husband, I'll be like, I need an idea for this, something
Hmm.
I'm working on. And he'll give me a couple of ideas and I don't always use it, but sometimes it'll spark something
Yes,
within me.
yes.
So it's really nice to have that kind of backup, like who you can go to help you when you're getting stuck in a situation.
Which played out a little bit ago.
Yes, it
You needed
did.
an idea for a particular
Yeah.
project. She knew
Yeah.
one of the ladies in the group had high strategic,
Hmm.
well, actually, two of
Hmm.
them, an
Yeah.
ideation, and just asked the group. And yep, sure enough, they came up with
Right. Yeah. And it resonated so much with me. It like spoke to my little relationship builder heart.
something.
And
So, but you
yeah,
knew
yeah,
you
it was
could bring
exciting.
your problem or your
Right.
project to the group, and
Uh-huh.
somebody within that group with those high strengths would come up with something for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. It's great to have that kind of mastermind group.
Hmm.
Everyone should have one.
I mean, just imagine the power of that if you're in a team, if you're
Right.
at a peer group at work
Yeah.
and on
Oh,
a
yeah.
project, and everybody knew each other's strengths,
Uh-huh.
and you could go to a particular person and you could like cherry pick who you needed to do
Right.
certain things based on their strengths. But if you don't know them, then it's just guesswork. But
Right.
knowing them really makes it more efficient, and things can happen in a quicker way, and you have that language to be able to
Hmm.
articulate to somebody. Like
Hmm.
even just, hey, I need your ideation strength
Right.
to help me. So just having the words is very, very helpful as well.
Absolutely. Yep.
Mm. And I don't know about you before we wrap it up here, but when I'm hearing people talk in
Hmm.
conversation, I like to pick up on their strengths. Like
Yes.
that the person with high context, it was so cute. She used the word contact multiple
Uh,
times. Every time
uh-huh.
she said it, I like got this big grin on my.
Uh-huh.
And I told her eventually, I said, you use that word all the time. And she
Uh-huh.
didn't even realize it.
Yeah. Yeah. So she like exemplifies it without even being aware of it.
Exactly. And that's
Hmm.
the whole, an idea, the whole, don't want to say the entire concept, but we do these things and we think these ways, and it's so natural for us. We don't even think it's anything special.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just assume everybody can think like we do. And
Right.
no, no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that that is one of the key factors why you and I both love this so much, because it's such a gift to be able to communicate to someone that they
Hmm.
are unique and
Hmm.
their voice, their way of viewing things is needed in this world
Oh my gosh, yes.
because they're irreplaceable.
And we all need each other. Like you said,
Right.
we need other people to fill in the gaps of what does not come naturally to us. But
Hmm.
there's somebody
Hmm.
else that it comes naturally to.
Right.
So instead of working in isolation and trying to go it alone, and which is
Right.
what we're taught in our society,
Uh-huh.
you
Pull
know,
yourself up by your bootstraps.
yeah,
Be
yeah, and
well-rounded. Do
yeah.
it all.
And there's pride in that. Look, I could do
Yeah.
it myself. Well,
Right.
you
Right.
can, but it's going to be funner and more efficient and more
Hmm.
productive when you do it with other people, whether you're a
Right.
relationship builder or not.
Right. Right. And I think the whole point of strengths, the whole goal, the is that we're living in community
Hmm.
with not just our immediate family and friend circle and all of that, but the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
We this is our connectedness speaking, I guess, but
Yes.
like it's important to find your place in the world and to know that
Hmm.
that's a unique place and to appreciate everyone else's unique place in the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah, for sure. It said it's very, very empowering.
Hmm.
Everything
Hmm.
about it is empowering for you, your relationships, empowering in your health. I mean, it's just,
Right.
it can be applied to so many areas
Hmm.
of our lives. And and I don't want to go in this direction, but we all need each other. We're part of
Hmm.
humanity, as you
Hmm.
said. We
Hmm.
all are showing up in our own unique way. There's nobody else on the planet like us. So, yeah, we all need to be working together, sharing
Right.
our gifts, interacting with those gifts. And I really
Hmm.
think that's all part of life here.
Right.
No, and again, I don't want to get too deep into that, but I just felt I wanted to say that.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
So that is our dip into strategic thinking.
Right. Yeah.
If you have an assessment and you have your results and you would like to get a little bit of complimentary coaching
Right.
here on our nerd half hour or our nerd session, feel free to send a screenshot, connect with me or
Yeah.
Linda,
Hmm.
get that information in our hand. You'd be more
Hmm.
than welcome to come on with us and give us real-time feedback. And you can get
Yeah. I would love
yourself
that.
a little mini coaching session right
Yeah.
here and go away at a higher level and understanding more
Hmm.
about yourself.
Hmm.
All right, my
Yeah.
friends.
Sounds good. We'd love
Thank
to
you
hear
so
from
much,
you.
Linda. It's always
Yeah.
a delight nerding out with you. So thank you so
Yes,
much.
definitely.
Thank you to everybody listening in. I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, connect with us. Our information
Hmm.
will be in the description with this video. We'll see you
Yeah.
next time. Bye
Take care,
bye.
everyone. Bye bye.